Still watching the news at 10 on Channels Television. Now, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Geoffrey Onyeama, is promising stronger bilateral ties between Nigeria and Angola. The ties, according to him, will feature the strengthening of the Nigeria-Angola Binational Commission, which will boost trade. Speaking at the meeting with the Angolan Minister of External Relations, Mr. Samuel Augustus, Mr. Onyeama explains that other partnerships by both countries will be in the areas of peace and security, especially in the Gulf of Guinea. Protests are already trailing the creation of 4 new emirates in Kano State by Governor Abdullahi Ganduge, following approval by the State House of Assembly. The protesters, led by a body known as First Group, gathered outside Murtala with placards expressing their displeasure. They insist that the creation of more emirates will lead to unnecessary spending of funds and are asking the government to focus on more pressing issues like depletion of revenues, healthcare lapses, security and educational challenges. They've also called on the presidency to intervene and prevent the governor from tampering with the cultural heritage of the Kano State. Let's return to Melinda in Lagos now for the rest of the news at 10. Melinda.
Many thanks, Ibrahim. To some company news now. In a bid to improve financial inclusion, especially at the grassroots level, stakeholders in the financial technology service have been asked to invest more in agent banking services. That's the focus of discussion at the second quarter 2019 edition of POS Innovation Summit, hosted by Global Accelerate. The summit is aimed at achieving the financial inclusion goals of the federal government and attaining the Financial System Strategy 2020 plan of the Central Bank of Nigeria.
The 7th edition of the POS Innovation Summit provides answers to the challenges of digital financial services and financial inclusion.
Lack of access to financial services hinders the upward mobility of individuals, setting them up on a path to failure and keeping them in a vicious cycle of dependency.
The keynote presentation captures the overview of Nigeria's financial inclusion status and the need to scale up agency banking as a key driver.
As you have the banks not been able to reach to the remote areas, we needed a kind of an outlet. How do we reach? So that's how the agency come in. So we expect that we have players in that field who can engage even the remote village. There is a shop that every person patronizes.
To deepen the understanding of how agent banking really works, participants witnessed a live demonstration of Accelerex agent network platform.
And then the transaction is approved.
As well as the N3 Android point-of-sale terminal and other POS terminals upgraded to work with it.
So whether it's cash in, cash out, or any other thing that needs to happen, is taking a bank branch and making it an endpoint, a small device that's in the hand of an agent, so that wherever you are, you can enjoy financial services. That's the problem that we have solved with this platform that we have launched today, the Agent Network Platform by Accelerate.
The high point of the summit is the unveiling of the new brand identity of Global Accelerex.
This is the new Global Accelerex.
Global Accelerex believes with the way we've used innovation to penetrate the market in Nigeria, we can explore the same strategy to launch into other African states.
We have an in-house innovation and technology team that embodies creativity, flexibility, and agility. With a new brand comes a renewed commitment to our partners, customers, and the industry.
The POS Innovation Summit is renowned for its invaluable contributions to innovation and improvement of e-payment industry.
LG, a leading producer of home appliances, mobile devices, and digital television sets, has launched another innovation, the LG Art-Cooled Wall Inverter Air Conditioner. The electronic outfit confirms that the introduction of this product is in line with the company's policy of providing quality service.
Innovation is what keeps businesses on the front line. And that is the hallmark of electronics manufacturing giant LG. The company has introduced its latest product, the LG ArtCool Dual Inverter Air Conditioner, designed to take user experience and convenience to new heights. Unlike regular air conditioners, this sleek and environmental-friendly device has dual inverter compressors that pump gas faster to achieve effective cooling within a very short time.
In terms of performance, it comes with dual inverter AC, which gives 70% energy efficiency and 40% fast cooling.
You wonder what other unique features the LG ArtCool Dual Inverter Air Conditioner has? The marketing manager, Mr. Paul Mba, says it all.
The AC comes with what we call a dual inverter. The compressor itself is actually dual inverter. We call it dual inverter compressor. Another key feature of this AC is the compressor. That same dual inverter compressor has a 10-year warranty. Every consumer, before buying product, they actually want to be sure they get value for their money.
The latest feature of this AC is it can operate through Wi-Fi. We call it a Smart ThinQ function, where the customer can download this application and can operate AC through his mobile. Even if he is outside his home or in some other country, he can operate. Only the Wi-Fi is to be on in the home.
The manufacturers are hoping that with the introduction of this product into the Nigerian market, it will help achieve the highest satisfaction and a lifestyle that fits a wide range of consumers.
The federal government is setting the record straight on funds meant for the establishment of a new company, and Kayode has that and other stories on Business News.
You First. First Bank.
Well, that's right, Melinda, and you're welcome to Business News. The Minister of Trade and Investment, Mr. Okechukwu Enelama, has said that all funds for the establishment of the Special Economic Zone is domiciled at the Central Bank and not in the accounts of private companies listed to carry out the project, as speculated in some quarters. At a news conference in Abuja, Mr. Enelama assures that the establishment of the economic zones will help boost trade and create jobs.
With the approval that we finally got, to launch the program as well as establish the Nigerian Special Economic Zone Investment Company, or NSESCO for short, we then had to go through the various processes, for registering it. First of all, register with CAC, register with the government. Remember, this is a public-private partnership where other investors will come in. Now, why that is important is that all the elements are now coming into place. So in order for it to be ready, we also then requested the government to provide its own funding for this program. Remember, we're trying to raise $500 million from all the parties. The first amount that was available from government is the 14.3 billion, which went through, like I said, approval from the cabinet, appropriation by the National Assembly, then it went through further approval. So once NSESCO was registered, including with CBN, and has a central bank account, NEBSA then transferred the money, this 14.3 billion, to the central bank account that NSESCO has. And that's where that money is sitting today. It's not been touched, because I've had things about the money has been squandered. The money is basically sitting in that account, waiting for the other investors to bring their own money, so that this project can be launched.
The former chairman, Nigeria Economic Summit Group, Mr. Kyari Bukar, has supported the new Northeast Development Commission, which was inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. Bukar, who is also the co-chair of the UN Nigeria Humanitarian Fund, told Channels Television's Business Morning that the new agency should work closely with state governments in the region and collaborate with local and international donors to achieve quick and sustainable success.
A strong set of people that are in the NEDC, the execution and quick achievements, which need to also be shared. Because one of the things about impact is that the impact need to be, I wouldn't call it celebrated, but actually need to be showcased, so that both the people that are involved, as well as the people that are the beneficiaries, plus the international partners, would all feel.
The domestic stock market remains in the red yet again, ending Thursday's trading session deeper and lower into 28,000 points on a mixture of economic uncertainty and the search for policy direction by investors. Well, let's get some more details from Ekaite Afia.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. 4 days of trading and 4 days of straight losses on the Nigerian bourse as the all-share index shed 0.24% on Thursday, digging deeper into the new psychological level of 28,000. 2 sectors finished in the red, 2 in the green, while industrial goods was unchanged. The banking counter was the major contributor to today's losses as the index lost 0.55%, while consumer goods was down a marginal 0.03%. The losses from the banking sector is evident on the list of top trades, as shares of Access, Zenith, and Sterling were the most actively traded. Looking at the summary of trading activities in terms of volume and value, 215 million shares worth over 2 billion naira changed hands in 5,646 deals. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Ekaite Afia.
Thank you, Ekaite. Major global stock markets closed Thursday's session mostly lower following concerns by investors that US and China will not reach a trade agreement before new tariffs go into effect Friday midnight. Here are some of the closing figures for the day. Thank you for watching Business News Tonight. I am Kayode Okikelu. It's now back to Melinda.
You First. First Bank.
Thank you so much, Kayode. The United States has seized a North Korean cargo ship, accusing it of violating international sanctions. According to the Justice Department, the ship was used to move coal, North Korea's largest export, but subject to a UN export ban. And this comes as North Korea reportedly tested 2 short-range missiles, its second in a week. Now let's get more international stories. Juliana Olainka is standing by with Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom in London. North Korea has fired 2 short-range missiles, according to the South Korean military. The move comes just 5 days after Kim Jong-un supervised what was described as a strike drill for multiple rockets and tactical guided weapons into the East Sea. South Korea's defense chiefs believe the latest test involved short-range ballistic missiles, which traveled 420 and 270 kilometers. The tests come as a top U.S. envoy arrived in Seoul. The special representative for North Korea, Stephen Biegun, is in the South Korean capital for 2 days to discuss how to break the deadlock on nuclear negotiations. Meanwhile, President Trump has ordered new sanctions against Iran after it threatened to enrich its stockpile of uranium. The US president is targeting the country's steel, aluminium, copper and iron sectors, which the White House says is worth around 10% of the state's economy. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has also defended a decision to send an aircraft carrier and a bomber task force to the Persian Gulf.
We saw the intelligence, and so we sent some messages on Friday to make sure that it was clear to Iran that we recognized the threat and we were postured to respond to the threat.
China is also in the firing line with President Trump, ramping up hostilities in the trade war. During a rally in Florida, he accused Beijing of breaking a deal after vowing to more than double tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese goods. China says it will retaliate if necessary with countermeasures. A delegation has arrived in Washington for further talks.
So I just announced that we'll increase tariffs on China, and we won't back down until China stops cheating our workers and stealing our jobs, and that's what's going to happen. Otherwise, we don't have to do business with them. We don't have to do business. We can make the product right here if we have to, like we used to. Remember, like we used to. I did get last night a very beautiful letter from President Xi. Let's work together. Let's see if we can get something done. But they renegotiated the deal. I mean, they took, whether it's intellectual property theft, they took many, many parts of that deal and they renegotiated. You can't do that.
The United Nations has voiced its concerns over the escalation in violence in northwestern Syria. Video has emerged of airstrikes in Idlib province. A helicopter was seen dropping a barrel bomb on the town of Kasa. And images uploaded to social media purportedly show more airstrikes in the town of Hesh. The Syrian Civil Defense, also known as the White Helmets, released videos of rescuers helping those who were injured. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says almost 200 people, including 85 civilians, have been killed in just over a week. The deputy of the Venezuelan opposition leader, Juan Guaido, has been arrested by the country's intelligence services. Edgar Zambano, who's the vice president of the National Assembly, was towed to prison in his car after he refused to leave the vehicle when approached. It's the first time a lawmaker has been arrested since last week's attempt to trigger a military rebellion to unseat President Nicolas Maduro. David Beckham has been disqualified from driving for 6 months. The former England international footballer pleaded guilty to using his mobile phone while driving after he was spotted by a member of the public. He was also ordered to pay a £750 fine and was given 6 points on his licence. Pope Francis has introduced sweeping changes to Catholic Church law, making it mandatory for clergy to report cases of sexual abuse and cover-ups. In an apostolic letter, he said bishops can also be held accountable for abuse of power in sexual relations with adults. A moment of silence has been observed in Russia to remember the lives lost during World War II. The ceremony was followed by a Victory Day parade through Red Square, showing Moscow's military might, before thousands of people carrying portraits of their relatives staged their own march. They were joined by the President Vladimir Putin, who carried an image of his father, who fought in the war. And finally, Prince Harry has returned to work just days after becoming a father. He's in the Netherlands to promote the 2020 Invictus Games, an international sporting event he founded for military personnel who've been wounded in action. While that was the focus of his trip, the birth of his son didn't go without mention. The Duke of Sussex pleasantly surprised when he was presented with a gift. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Thank you so much, Juliana. And the main news again. It was all jubilation in Osun State today as the Court of Appeal upheld the victory of APC candidates in the 2018 governorship election in the state, Adeboyega Oyetola. This came as the PDP vowed to approach the Supreme Court over the judgment. Also today, President Muhammadu Buhari wrote to the Senate seeking confirmation of the reappointment of the Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, for a second 5-year term. And the United States today seized the North Korean coal ship for allegedly violating international sanctions amid rising diplomatic tension between both countries. That's the news at 10. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the team, it's good night.